Wonderful story. Here's what happened. So Jonas, he worked for the local news station, and his job was to go places and tell people what was going on, tell people the news. He worked for CNN. And God woke him up one morning. He said, Jonas, I want you to go over there to Nineveh and tell the Ninevites that they're messing up, that they was getting in trouble, they was gambling, jinking, because they had just built a casino over there, and they was just acting a fool. It was just a mess. And Jonas didn't want to do it, so he took off. He got on the Titanic ship, and he was rowing away because he was scared. He was trying to run from Jesus. And then Hurricane Katrina came up on the boat. Hurricane Katrina came over there, and she was with Hurricane Gustav, and they was just wreaking havoc. Everybody on the boat, they was scared. But Jonah was downstairs sleeping because he had been up the last night because he was getting ready for a segment for CNN. And so he was tired. He was sleeping at the bottom of the boat. And they came and they said, Jonah, you know, we having this storm and we scared, you know, you need to pray and figure out what's going on. So he said, well, toss me over the boat, you know, and he couldn't swim well either. He ain't had no floaties or nothing. He didn't know what he was going to do. And so they threw him overboard, and a big old fish came up out of nowhere. It was a salmon. It was a salmon. And it came up and it swam through and it swallowed him. And he was in that fish for 3 days and 3 nights. And he was praying and he was fasting because there wasn't no food in there except the fish had eaten and had already digested. And so it was nasty and watery and it was gross. But Jesus heard his prayer and he said, I think he's sincere. So he caused the fish to have some indigestion and he spit him up. He threw him up on the ship because they had Pepto-Bismol back then. So he threw him up on the beach. And Jonah went, he decided he was going to go to Nineveh. So he went in there and he went to the gambling places and the strip joints. He told everybody, he said, stop acting a fool for you to get destroyed. And so they did, and he was mad about it because Jonah had a bad attitude all the time. He was always grouchy anyway. So he went storming up the mountain and he sat by a rose bush. It was a rose bush. It was real pretty, had little thorns and everything, gorgeous. And this worm came along. The worm was hungry because the worm had been fasting too. Because, you know, worm was trying to get close to the Lord because they didn't know he was trying to reach Jesus. And so the worm got a little hungry and said it was going to make a salad out of the rose bush. So it put the little rose leaves and some tomatoes and some carrots in it. And they ate the bush. And Jonah was mad, and so he never quite figured it out. He just always had a bad attitude. But anyway, that's the story of Jonah. And let that be a lesson to you. Let that learn you that you can't run from God. You got to do what you're told. You got to be obedient. Or you're going to end up in the stomach of a salmon. Read your Bible. Read your Bible.
Read your Bible.